Hey Olu, have you been approached about investing in any scooter companies lately?
Well, no, but I'm always looking to get into the ground level of any business opportunity.
That's great because I have an investment opportunity for you, and it's even been endorsed by Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary Sean Spicer.
I mean, say less. Take my money. Take my money.
Amazing. I'm so glad you're signing up. Let's start the show. So, thanks for joining us this week. I know we sort of started our intro in a silly way. We are not here to sell you on an investment idea. We're not those kind of podcasters. Sorry
I
if you're
mean,
disappointed.
I don't know. I feel like we should settle for some kind of grift. Everybody does it these days. We need a
I
grift.
know. I know. Lots of podcasters have a grift, but we're different, sadly for our wallets. But what we did want to talk about today is something we recently discovered, and it's fascinating because it is a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme, which is for me is the first time I've come across this. Some of you may already be familiar with this, but we are talking about a company called Lightning Shared Scooter Company, or LSSC is what it's referred to on the internet. If you Google that, you will see lots and lots of posts asking about whether it's a real investment, asking about whether it's a scam or not. We're here to tell you that it is a scam, so don't put your money into it. And we wanted to talk about it today because quite a few people around us, friends, family, and then also just generally people on the internet seem to be getting involved. And it's actually very disturbing how widespread it is. So, Olu, has anyone approached you with, seriously now, has anyone approached you to talk about LSSC or lightning scooters?
No, I first heard about it from threads where a lot of our followers or people we follow were complaining about the elderly people in their lives signing up for this or being
Oh
duped
no.
by this.
Yes.
And I
Same.
just sort of ignored it. I didn't think it was something big. Um, but then it seems like it's spread to WhatsApp, which like
Yes.
the evil that WhatsApp has done in this world.
I know. I know. WhatsApp is the source of a lot of bullshit these days. It's quite
I know, like
ridiculous.
Twitter gets all the, I guess, hate and TikTok, but like, who WhatsApp is the like under radar sort of source of the worst chain link forwarded messages you can ever see, and like AI slop that is like ridiculous. It's like a sheep raising a
Oh,
baby
oh
in a
no.
sheep farm. And it's
sheep,
just like, and you're just like,
a
why does
sheep raising
anybody
a baby.
believe this?
Oh my
Why does
God.
anybody believe that a baby and a lamb can grow up together in the forest? And why are they forwarding it to me? I'm
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining this image, a sheep raising a baby. Okay. No, no. That's not that. Okay. So, but let's talk about LSSC because I I think if I describe it to you, you'll understand immediately why it doesn't make any sense. So LSSC claims that they are a shared scooter company registered in Hong Kong, and they have an app that allows people in China to rent scooters. And you, as an investor, what you would do is you would basically buy scooters that are in China. So you never see the scooters. You're not physically picking up scooters. You're going to basically take on ownership of a scooter through your investment. And then you earn a cut of revenue every time someone rents that scooter. And the returns are insane. You are being promised 10% or more returns on a monthly basis, actually, a weekly basis, because you're supposed to be getting paid every week. It's all done through crypto. So your initial investment, you have to pay them through crypto. So you have to sign up for a trading platform, crypto platform, transfer your US dollars into US tokens or some other cryptocurrency and use that to pay them. You have to download an app that you cannot find on the App Store. The app can only be downloaded from their website and by installing certain security features on your iPhone or Android phone. And then every day you sign into the app, you tap a button to quote activate your scooter that you've never seen, and then you're off. And it just, what I just described to you is what was sold to people, and people were like, yes, sign me up, and they were off to the races. Does that not sound sketchy to you in so many ways?
I mean, there are so many red flags. If you want to do illegitimate business, there's no better way to do it than with crypto, right? Because it's not
Obviously.
really traceable and you can't recover your money. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
In general, downloading an app that is not on the official app stores that's just craziness. That's like asking for your phone to be hacked and taken over. Like, I don't
Basically.
understand what is
Basically.
going on here. And then the other thing is, like, even if like this business is telling you we're going to offload all of the risk to you, right? Because if it's a legitimate business, you would just invest in it and they would buy the scooters like
Mm-hmm.
Uber does. Like they're like this would be like if Uber said you would buy each car.
Oh, well, so when I say buy, I mean like you pay them money and they basically assign you a scooter. So you don't actually have to buy the car. And fun fact, I'm sorry, buy the scooter. You're paying them money to say I own this scooter, but you're not actually sort of buying the scooter.
Okay.
You're basically
But
taking
this would be the
ownership
same
of the
thing though. This would
scooter.
be like if Uber told its investors that you're gonna be assigned a scooter in like a timeshare. I don't know, like
Yeah, or a
what kind of
Toyota
like
hybrid. You're
yeah,
gonna own a
like
Prius, and someone else will drive it for you, and you'll
right.
get a
Like
cut
either
every
you
time.
just buy equity in the firm or stock in the firm or something. You don't like why would you buy the actual devices of the firm? That doesn't make any sense. Or why would you pay to be assigned a device in the firm?
It really
That's
doesn't.
crazy.
It really doesn't. And also, so I went on one of the other red flags with this is they have like 25 different URLs. You can't just go to lssc.com to find this business. They have lssc.xyz.com. They have so many spin-off URLs, all of which appear to have been started in the last year if you look at the domain information, which is interesting because people who try to pitch this will tell you that the business has been around for years, but somehow most of their URLs weren't set up until like November of last year. So that's a red flag. The other red flag, the scooters they have on their website, you can buy on Amazon for like $200. These are not some fancy scooters. They're $200 scooters that you can find on Amazon, but they're quote selling these scooters because obviously again you're not buying them, you're buying ownership of them so you can get a cut of the revenue. They're selling the scooters for like $900. That's the sort of entry fee is $900. So in doing
I
the
am sorry.
research,
A scooter in China does not cost 900
it
US
doesn't.
dollars. I mean,
It doesn't.
that's insane.
It really doesn't. And that's the other thing. The returns are insane. They're telling you if you give them $1,000+ every week, you will get 10% of that back. No investment works that way. I'm sorry. There is no real legitimate investment that promises 10% returns on a monthly basis. Or sorry, a weekly basis. That is insane. That's such a red flag, massive sign of a scam. Like I don't, and that's the other thing that is really interesting about this. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I spent a lot of time looking into LSSC because it was just so fascinating. One of the other things they're
We
doing,
appreciate your efforts, Liz.
thank
We
you,
really do.
thank you, thank you. Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary, is on video on YouTube endorsing this Ponzi and pyramid scheme. We haven't even gotten
Okay,
to the
but
pyramid scheme part, but he's on video.
okay, but like quick sidebar, that doesn't surprise me at all. If you've ever watched Fox News, the kind of stuff they sell to their audience during their
Mm-hmm.
ad breaks is actually ridiculous. Like they are selling them refinancing on their homes. That just seems like a scam and a way to take people's homes from them. they're always, I mean, we all know the My Pillow nonsense. This magical pillow that is gonna, fix your
Yes.
back surgery or whatever. Like they're always selling them junk and obvious scams. The other day they were selling them a patriotic cell phone service. And I'm like,
What does
what
that
is a
mean?
cell phone? I know. So essentially, like what I'm trying to say is that these right-wing stars just hate their followers. Like they do this all the time. They sell them all sorts of junk. It's just par for the course.
It's truly disturbing because you would think someone who used to work at the White House would have done a little bit more research on the thing that he was endorsing. And the endorsement video, if you watch it, I think you'll notice it kind of seems like a cameo video, like they gave him $50 and said, "Can you say these words?" And Sean Spicer did zero research and just repeated whatever they asked him to say, saying, "It's congratulations, it's such a great thing you guys are doing with LSSC." And I'm like, you used to work at the White House. How do you not take 5 minutes to say, what is this group that I'm endorsing? I don't understand. And it's not just Sean Spicer. There are police officers on video endorsing LSSC. The mayors of towns. I saw a video from, I've never heard of this town, a town named Drew, Mississippi. The mayor of that town endorsed LSSC. This is a Ponzi
Wow.
scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme. It's not a real business. There are no fucking scooters in China. I can't stress this enough. So there's no product. It's a pyramid scheme because in order to even earn your initial deposit back, you have to recruit people, at least 5 people. And then they have tiers. The more people you recruit, the higher you go up. They have
Oh
manager
my God.
levels. It's just, it's every sign of a scam. And so to see officers, current army staff, people in uniform endorsing LSSC. See Sean Spicer. They even got Nick Young, who is a retired NBA player used to play with Golden State. You might recognize his face from the meme. He's like a meme Hall of Famer. He's on video endorsing this. Also, I think from a cameo video. It's insane. Insane.
I mean, this is part of celebrity just like endorsement culture. They clearly don't do any research. They will sell you all sorts of stuff like neutronics or whatever that is supposed to help your brain function better, right? And they're not always very ethical about it. They don't
They're
always
not.
say that this is like a sponsored ad. And from their perspective, they're getting their money. Like the only people who would definitely get money are the people who are actually endorsing this because they'll be getting paid up front. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the question is like, are they paying them back in crypto? Like, has anybody actually withdrawn their money from this scam?
That's a great question. And in my research, I discovered that we have stumbled upon this, let's call it LSSC phenomenon, at the perfect time, because, like I said, some of these websites have been around since November, promising these lightning scooter services. So it's been a few months, and things I think really started to pick up in April, but in typical Ponzi scheme fashion. Very early adopters were able to withdraw some of their money, but in the last week, multiple hundreds of people are complaining that they have no access to their deposits anymore. They're not able to withdraw money. And I think it's beginning to
Of
sink
course.
in that they were a scam, because this is typical Ponzi scheme nonsense. You put your money in, you're told recruit people, you recruit a bunch of people, everybody puts their money in, and then if you don't withdraw in time or early enough, you're left holding the bag. And so at this point, as of today, we're recording on a Sunday, people are stressing out over tens of thousands of dollars. I saw people talking about putting in 20,000, $15,000. These are people who probably can't afford these investments, by the way. They were roped in at church. That's a lot of what a lot of people are saying. They were, targeted, let's say recruited at churches, and have their money in this scam that they are no longer able to withdraw.
I mean, this is just classic, right? I feel like every decade has its own MLM pyramid scheme scandal, right? We've had the Herbalife and Avon being the, original one. Like
Avon.
this just goes on and on. I mean, some of them are able to maintain legitimacy. I just looked it up. Apparently, Herbalife is still a legitimate company. Yeah, they stick around, but yeah, this is the classic thing, and it leads to desperation in the people who are marketing it to you, like the Mississippi mayor. If that person has deposited, I don't know, $6,000, and they need their money back, they're going to sell it hard to get the 5-10 other people so that they can get their money back. That's just,
They
they feed
are.
on just people's desperation.
How did you know? Literally over the last week. So deposits, it seems, started getting frozen July 11th or so. But then suddenly last week, because I've been monitoring some of these accounts, suddenly last week, there was this big push saying they were having a quote unquote sale and you could join in and get your remember I said there's tiers of participation, like a pyramid, some would say. You can get upgraded to the next level upon joining. And they were reducing the entry fee, and people were pushing really hard to sign up, sign up, sign up. So yeah, that's usually just like you said, that's one of the early signs things are about to fall apart. And now, as of Sunday, July 20th, nobody's able to withdraw money, and people are beginning to panic. It's been fascinating to observe, quite honestly, and very sad because, as I said, this is something that is affecting people who cannot afford these kinds of losses. Some people really believed in this. I get the sense there were people who understood that this was a house of cards that would fall apart at some point, but there were people who genuinely believed, unfortunately, older people who put in a lot of money and are now beginning to realize that this was a scam.
Unfortunately, it's hard to tell people what's real and what is fake these days. I have relatives who cannot tell the difference between like AI videos and real videos, right? Like
Yep.
people really do believe that there is a Jesus, walking side by side with a little kid on the beach. And they see that video and they send it
And
to
that was
you.
recorded. That was recorded and put up on TikTok to send to people. That's
Exactly.
funny.
And they truly believe that. So when you see what people believe, you find it really easy to understand why people will fall for this kind of stuff. Um, and also, I mean, there was that lady's story of her falling for somebody calling her to say that she needed to withdraw $50,000 to get her credit cards back
Oh
or something.
yes, she was a journalist, I think, or something in New York. This was it
Yeah,
last year? She got a call from someone claiming to be the CIA, saying she needed to deposit $50,000.
yeah,
Yes, I remember that. And she nearly did, or she did. I can't remember.
yeah. And I think the point I'm trying to make is that it's also easy to be like, well, how could anybody fall for that? But sometimes they're just able to pick your particular psychology, right? And just that particular vulnerability that you have. I mean, if people believe that China is this like booming economy and getting down on the first level of investment could be the next Bitcoin, right? Like everybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
um, not miss out, and that's why we've been having wave after wave of these kinds of scams.
Yes. That is true. And that's something else I discovered is this is not the first version of this. There have been multiple versions of these scams. It seems like a lot of them have been targeted at immigrant communities and people who are of a certain income level that definitely cannot afford to lose tens of thousands of dollars of their savings, life savings, 401k. People are taking out loans to invest in this, and that the earlier versions of it, they had names like I think there was one called Lime Bike, which I know there is a real company named Lime that has scooters and bikes across U.S. cities. This was not related to the real company, but it was named after it, and so convinced a lot of people. Now we have this one with Lightning scooters. I mean, they have people renting out office space in places like Dallas and Houston. There's just so much stuff. They told people, certain manager levels in the pyramid, that they would win a free car. And these people showed up at Audi dealerships talking about bringing a certificate saying they were there to collect their free car. And the Audi dealer was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There's no free car.
Oh my
Audi's not giving away
God.
cars. Yes.
Oh my God.
In one instance, someone said that they were given a Tesla by LSSC. But what really happened was LSSC told them, you buy a Tesla and we will reimburse you because we can't like come to your city to buy a Tesla. So the person bought a Tesla and is waiting for LSSC's reimbursement. I'm laughing, but it's so not funny. It's not funny at all. This is fucking sad.
Gosh.
And it's just, it seems like versus previous versions, this is something that is affecting Americans now. So it's not focused just on immigrant communities. There are people from all walks of life, background, that are signing up for this. And it's still being sold, even though deposits are now frozen. It's crazy.
I mean, it's so much more fun I saw some of the videos that they put up for this, which, Mbappe endorsing this, that you sent me.
Yes, they said Mbappe would be there at their big event on 25th. Yep.
Right. And, those videos are so much easier to sell than a boring news segment going in depth about why this is a scam and why you shouldn't, fall for it, right?
Yes, that's true. That is
it's
true.
Unfortunate.
It is
I
unfortunate.
love the close-ups of the scooters that you sent me because they did those close-ups like they were unveiling the next rocket that was going to the moon or something. And it's just a scooter. And it has this rousing scooter music like it's the latest Rolls Royce or something. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, so much of this is throwing up massive, massive red flags. I actually ended up texting friends and family in every group chat I'm a part of to be like, if someone calls you and asks about this, tell them fuck no and tell them it's a scam and tell them to take their money out. And my parents actually said they had been approached. So, it's really, I was like, oh my God, I hope you didn't sign up. My mom said no. My dad did not respond. So I'm still a little suspicious there. But I'm fingers crossed. If you're listening to this, if you know or someone you know is being approached about Lightning scooters or any kind of quote scooter investment or bikes, that's the other thing they like to use. It is a scam. It is a Ponzi scheme. These people are out to get your money. Say no. And if you're someone who's still promoting this, even though, as I said, at this point, deposits are being frozen, even though you're being warned that it's a scam, I would be very careful because, as I mentioned, this is something that has started initially in immigrant communities and is now sort of spreading to the general population. But if you're someone who's signed up for it and is promoting it and is signing people up for it, you should be careful, especially in this administration, because there may be charges pending. You may get criminal charges. You may get deported depending on your level of involvement. So I would be super, super careful participating in something like this, especially if you're someone who's here on any kind of visa or immigrant status.
I completely agree. Do not give ICE an excuse. Not that they need one, but don't give ICE an excuse to
That's true.
deport you.
That's true. Don't get the feds involved. Like let's be smart about this. But more to come on this. I really feel like we will be talking about this again. As we sort of talked about earlier, apparently LSSC is having some kind of major event on July 25th, and Kylian Mbappe, who, if you're not familiar, is a massive, massive soccer star, internationally well known. He's like currently like the LeBron of soccer, I mean. So he's pretty popular. Apparently he's going to be in Dallas July 25th to help open a new LSSC office. And I will be waiting on pins and needles to see if that happens, especially, as we said, since deposits have been frozen. So I can't wait to hear what excuses the scammers come up with next. So more to come on this.
I agree. And let's hope this is the last that we hear of LSSC.
I know. I worry they're going to come up in a different name, but we will be on it. So let's talk about our next topic, which may be a little bit related. It might be a weird segue, but we are still talking about people getting scammed, except this time it's MAGA people who are scammed into thinking Donald Trump gave a shit about opening or transparency when it came to Jeffrey Epstein. We talked about this last week a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, editor's note, that was a perfect segue.
Thank you. I try.
Yes, but the ongoing scam that is the Trump presidency, which people fell for the second time, continues. And the Epstein files saga is not going away. So if you were, paying attention to the news last week, towards the end of last week, there were teasers out there that the Wall Street Journal was going to release a report about Trump and his activities with his very good friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Sorry. And they did release a report saying that Trump wrote Jeffrey Epstein a birthday card. And this just made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. He drew a naked woman.
Oh, no, don't describe it. Don't describe it. No, stop right there. It's okay. Let's just leave it at, it was a disgusting picture. If you guys want to look it up, you can. I mean, you can't see the picture. If you want to look up a description of the picture, you can do that. It involved nudity and Trump's signature. There you go.
Okay. Fair. And can I quote what he wrote?
Yes, of course.
The birthday card?
Very, very nonchalant message.
Yes. He said, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
Great. Sounds innocent to me.
I mean, it sounds very innocent, like secret wink, wink, like what was the secret, right?
Oh my God.
And this is somebody that he claims to not have known. Sometimes he would try to say that he's never met this person or wasn't that close to him. And it's like, my guy, you were writing him handwritten birthday cards, complete with like graffiti. I haven't even sent you a graffiti birthday card. I don't know. Should we reevaluate our friendship?
No. I don't think we are as close as Trump was to Jeffrey Epstein. I think that we are, and we call ourselves best friends. So they are above that. I mean, I don't know what it was like in the 90s for adults, but I don't think people were writing handwritten cards to total strangers they've never met, and being asked to be included in a booklet as a gift to someone. And then talking about secrets, wink, wink. Like even if you're an acquaintance, think about your coworkers at work that you don't hang out with. If you had to sign a birthday card for someone you just know casually, why would you sign it and say, "Hope every day is a secret" or something? What does that mean? What are we talking about here? It's crazy.
I agree. It's definitely shady as hell. And there was another report by the New York Times where essentially somebody who organized a party for young women for Donald Trump, it was called a Calendar Girl Competition Party, was surprised that Jeffrey Epstein was the only other guest. So they organized a party for young women to compete in a Calendar Girl competition, and it was just Trump and Epstein as the other guests, which again, so creepy.
Oh my God. First of all, even having just Trump, extremely creepy, then why is Jeffrey Epstein there? I just, oh my God, I don't even know where to go from here at this point. How do we convince MAGA that this is a problem? That's one of my questions, because it seems to me very obvious that the files, the quote unquote Epstein files, have Trump in them and probably up to some bullshit. So why isn't this, why aren't they in the streets protesting? They literally stormed the Capitol because they thought something had happened with the election. Why aren't they in the streets protesting in front of the White House?
Well, I mean, this is not going to shock you, might disappoint you, but um, oddly enough, MAGA and Steve Bannon types have actually rallied around Trump after
Of
the Wall
course.
Street Journal released their report.
I see. Okay.
Because now they're claiming, like, this must be because the deep state wants the Epstein files to be a real thing. And they're using the Wall Street Journal report as evidence of this being a deep state hoax. Now, like, it's
Wow.
very hard to get into the reasoning of these people. I'm not saying it makes sense, but that's what
It
they're thinking
doesn't.
right now.
It doesn't make any sense. And I mean, if you were someone who is in the deep states, I don't think the Wall Street Journal is your paper of choice for getting things out there. I really I'm taking a deep breath because I sometimes get so annoyed at these people. Why would anyone who wanted to quote take down Trump, first of all, start with such a minuscule part of what is definitely a larger story? Why? Why would they talk about some, and what did Trump say? He didn't write the painting or something was what he said. Why would
He
anyone start
claims
with
not to draw, except we've all seen him try to draw on maps, on weather maps, and we were like,
we
"What are
have
you doing?"
we have he didn't say he's never drawn a painting. He said he's never written a painting or something. He used the
Oh,
wrong verb. It was in his rant on Truth Social. He said something like, and I have never written a painting in my life or something. I These people are just, they twist themselves into pretzels to try and support their guy, and I just find it disgusting. Like, you have no fucking principles. You were pushing Trump to release the files. Wall Street Journal comes out with a story. And instead of seeing that as like, yes, this is more evidence, we need to know what's in there, it's like, oh, now the press is after him. Oh, no, not the mainstream media. We have to support our guy. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It's cult behavior. That's what it is. It's cult membership behavior.
yep, and they are all ready to rally behind him now. Even like Megyn Kelly and Steve Bannon and all of those people who, as of last week, were asking for more transparency on the files, are now using this throwaway story as an excuse to get back behind him, which is utterly predictable.
It is.
And
It is.
the other thing that Trump is doing is trying to throw them a bone by, like, the DOJ has Epstein files that they can release today if they wanted to. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is go the long way, ask a judge to give us permission to release grand jury transcripts, which they know most judges are not going to allow, like, full release of any transcripts. Like, they know this, right? They want to be able to say, oh, well, we tried, right? And the other point here is that this grand jury transcripts apparently are not about other people that were involved with Epstein. It's essentially just about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't include any of the information about the powerful people that they insist were doing these various crimes, right? So this is a non-story, but it's not for the people. It's for his supporters so that they can say, well, he tried to release the files and the
And he
judge blocked
couldn't.
him.
Yeah, those damn judges, with their laws and stuff. I can't believe that we're in this situation now where people are trying to say, oh, who even cares about this? Your guy literally promised this. Pam Body's, one of her first interviews when she came out as Attorney General, was to say the file is on her desk. She's looking at it. I don't know how you move on from that so quickly unless you're doing the mental gymnastics of MAGA. And I want to say, as I think we said this last week, but it bears repeating, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested and held in New York under the Trump administration. Trump was president when this man, as they say on TikTok, unalived himself. If they wanted to, they could have released whatever files and information they wanted 6 years ago in 2019 when he died. They could have done that. Nothing was stopping them from doing that if they really cared about this issue. And now they brought it up during the last election when, again, most people weren't talking about it. There were some fringe people on the right that talked about this, but Trump and his guys leaned into that, made it a big deal, and now they're reaping the consequences of their bullshit. I love it for them. I hope this continues to be a story. I hope every week there's new sort of drip revelations about other stuff Trump and Epstein did. Let's do it. And I'm rooting for the press here, even though they have been disappointing lately, which we will talk about, by the way. But I'm rooting for the press to keep doing their job, at least on this issue. Let us know what else you guys know. Where are all the people who organized these get-togethers and saw Trump and Epstein together? Let's even hear from, goddamn Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's just let it all out, because I'm tired of this being a talking point for conservatives and conspiracy theorists, actually on both sides. So let's just get it all out there.
Well, to your point, of course, Trump doesn't want this to happen. So he has gone for his favorite weapon, which is a lawsuit. He's suing the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion.
$10 billion? Wow.
For defamation. I'm just like, how do you even prove that your character is worth $10 billion, right? How do you prove that to a judge?
Especially someone with 34 felony counts. I don't know how you do that.
I know. And another woman who's come out as of this weekend to say he groped her, among the many, many other women that
wow.
we've
I didn't even know about
right?
that. Didn't even know
I know.
about
I mean,
that. Another person.
Another person, right? So this idea, but obviously he knows that, right? He just wants to shut down the media because this is part of his strategy to quiet down the media, to essentially make them useless and ineffective. This $10 billion lawsuit serves to prevent the Wall Street Journal from publishing anything else until, I guess, they clear this hurdle. And it also stops other people, other, smaller companies that don't have Rupert Murdoch as their, sugar daddy, to stop them from also digging and investigating and looking for sources and looking for connections between Trump and Epstein. And this continues. He has sued ABC and got a settlement of $10 million that went to his foundation, which is essentially a bribe. He has sued CBS, who also settled for $60 million in the middle of their merger between Paramount and Skydance, because they just didn't want their deal to be affected by Trump's very vindictive administration. And we just see this going on and on. Funding for Voice of America is being canceled. Funding for NPR and PBS is being canceled.
Yeah.
These are all just like full-on signs of a dictatorship where independent media of any kind is being stifled.
Yeah, the Murdoch lawsuit, I actually want to see how that goes, because as you said, with Rupert Murdoch behind me, what have we got to lose, right? This is not going to be like Fox and Dominion where stuff was being made up, right? The Wall Street Journal is not Fox News. They, even though they are right-leaning, given their focus on, deregulation and Wall Street, etc., they are a reputable news source. They would have done their research. They wouldn't have published without some level of certainty that they could prove these things in a court, knowing Trump is very litigious. So I don't think this will go the same way as Fox v. Dominion. I think this will be a much tougher case for Trump. I honestly expect them to push back, but I know, as you mentioned, with these other cases like CBS and ABC, other billionaires have caved. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But I hate to say, because only Trump could make me say I'm rooting for Rupert Murdoch in this situation. It's literally the enemy of my enemy, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's happening here. So go Wall Street Journal, go Murdoch. But on the other stuff you talked about, let's talk about the sort of the CBS Paramount situation. As some of you may have heard most recently, Stephen Colbert, who we have been a fan of for decades. We were watching him back when he was on The Daily Show as a segment on The Daily Show.
Yeah, back
got
when
his own
MAGA
show.
thought that he was their own guy, which is insane.
That was funny when he had the Colbert Report. We even went to his rally with Jon Stewart like 300 years ago in DC, the rally to restore sanity. We took a bus down there. It feels like it was 300 years ago. We took a bus down to DC from New York and like found a hotel and took the metro in and like hung out on the what? Was it the National Mall? I can't remember. But we have been fans of Colbert. And so it was with deep sadness that we found out this week that his show, The Late Show, was being canceled. People have suspicions about why. Are you one of those people, Olu, that thinks it's tied to the politics of it all?
Oh, absolutely. Colbert has the highest ratings of all the late night hosts in the last few years. I mean, late night television in general is not as lucrative as it used to be, right? Ratings are dropping, the internet, TikTok, whatever. But the point is that Colbert has the highest ratings amongst all of them. And Colbert is the most vicious critic of the president, right? Like he just
he's definitely one of the he's one of the most. I think Jimmy Kimmel is also up there with like going after the administration.
Right. But I mean, they all go after him, but you know, Colbert is pretty consistent. You know, he does the impressions and they have the cartoon and they have a lot of things that make fun of Trump.
Yes.
And you know that Trump watches them all the time because he's always truth socialing about them and, you know, complaining about them. And they need Trump's FCC to approve CBS's parent company, Paramount, and Skydance's merger, right? So it's just so perfect. And Trump himself is, you know, taking credit for this, right? Like this is like what mafia bosses do, right? They don't request bribes directly. They just say, oh, it would be a shame if your car ended up at the bottom of the river, right? And then they walk away. And everybody then knows that what they have to do, right? To like ensure that doesn't happen to them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what is happening.
Yeah. Trump was basically like, it would be a shame if something happened to your merger with Skydance. That's literally what he did. And exactly. I mean, I'm leaning like 75-25 political. So I'm leaning that 75% of it is political, 25% of it is that the show does cost money. And as you said, TV in general, live TV, et cetera, has been on the decline. But with that said, given that it has been on the decline, I'm not sure why the cutting had to start with Stephen Colbert. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've ever watched your local CBS, but they could do with about 5 fewer NCISs instead of cutting the Colbert show. That's my opinion. You know, we could do with significantly fewer versions of cop in city, firefighter in city, you know, doing dramatic rescue operations as a 22 episode series on TV that only like 70-year-olds stuck in a, I don't know, hotel room are watching. We could do a fewer of those shows. They could really focus on quality over quantity, and some of that quality would have been, to me, keeping The Late Show. Now, with that said, they are a business and they do have to check for their stockholders, their shareholders, whatever you want to call it. And this seems like it might have been a mix of financial and political reasons. That's my take anyway. I don't think it was fully political because the business is struggling. Like, we can't argue about that.
I agree, except that they're just canceling the entire thing, right? I mean, the Late Show is an American institution, right? Before this, it was David Letterman, and before him, there was probably somebody else who I don't remember. Um, but, the point is that this is an American institution. I'm sure they could have, unfortunately, maybe have to fire some people, maybe cut it down, maybe pare it down. They could have even changed the host, right? I'm sure that Stephen Colbert's payment package is probably the biggest financial burden that goes into
For the
making
show.
the show.
Probably.
Right, but they are just cutting the whole thing, period, because they understand that it's probably very hard to find somebody funny who is not going to make fun of Trump, right? So for me, it seems to me like they just don't want a show where they don't want to be seen as having to then tell the person, well, you can't make fun of Trump on your show, and so they've just decided to end it. That's my take from it.
Yeah, well, I see your point. I'm still on the it's business and financial, and quite honestly, it's CBS. As I said, I don't go to CBS for anything except sports. If on the off chance that's the only place I can catch, I don't know, some football game or something, then you'll see me there. But otherwise, I don't know who watches CBS, the channel. So it's unfortunate. I hope Stephen Colbert finds somewhere else to land. I really love his voice, let's say, his show, the way he was really cutting into the administration. I thought he did it so well, where it didn't always come across as mean spirited, even if what he was doing was cutting them. I just love his delivery of things. And I think a lot of people appreciated that. And so I hope he finds a place to land. I don't know if Netflix is available. Netflix has a lot of money. They spend on a lot of things. Maybe they can use some of it and
depends on how
revive
many
this.
deals Netflix wants to get done under Trump.
Well, Netflix doesn't have any deals. What deals? They don't have any M&A happening, so they're
They
fine.
don't want to acquire anything. As long as they don't want to acquire anything in the next 4 years, they're good.
I don't think Netflix is going to be acquiring any studios or anything. I think they're good where they are. They're going to just keep churning out content that people will talk about on socials for weeks at a time and renew their subscriptions. That's all they care about. And I love that for Netflix. So maybe he can go there. I don't expect CBS to be creative in this situation, because that is not what they do. They have one show that does well, and then they create 15 spinoffs of it, and that's how they operate. So unfortunate, but maybe long term, honestly, this would be the best thing. But bringing it back to Trump, it's so lame how all these media companies are caving. So fucking lame. So hopefully Wall Street Journal puts up a fight. We'll see, though. We'll see.
Indeed. And now to the third topic that I believe was created by the deep state to distract all of us from the Epstein files.
Oh, my favorite. This is one of I was so excited to talk about this. And Olu was very much being stern and being I don't know if we should talk about this, but I love this topic so much.
I don't understand why this is universal. I don't know why everybody is so invested.
Yeah. Well, what are we talking about though? What are we talking about though, Olu?
I feel like people probably know, at this point, everybody and their mother knows about this video that nobody really wanted to see. It just got leaked, and now we're all talking about it. So take it away, Liz.
Did it get leaked though? I feel like you're making this sound more nefarious than it is. So, dearest listeners, we are talking about that couple at the Coldplay concert. That's what we're talking about. I love this story so much. I just find it so fascinating. And I want to say off the top, I feel bad for the other spouses in this conversation and the families and any kids that are involved. I feel like we have to say that because the memes and joking have gotten hilarious and more ridiculous as the days go by. But if you're not aware, if you're like, what are we talking about? A couple was at a Coldplay concert in Boston this past week. They were caught, and I guess during Coldplay concerts, they have a camera that goes around kind of like a kiss cam to show couples, while Chris Martin sometimes asks them or points out cute couples. I don't know. Either way, the camera was roving at a Coldplay concert, and this couple was on camera on the Jumbotron in the stadium, cuddled up, and the minute the camera lands on them, they split up, jump apart, looking super, super guilty. And Chris Martin makes an offhand comment that either the couple is really shy or they're cheating. And it turns out they were cheating. They're both married to other people. They are coworkers. He is a CEO of a startup in New York City. She's a chief human resources officer. Let that sink in. And they were having an affair. They went to this concert as part of a company offsite and were caught on the Jumbotron in an embrace, making it very clear what was happening, and then proceeded to look super guilty when the camera landed on them. And everyone has been having a fucking field day with this. I love this story so much.
Okay, but why? Because this story to me is the most mundane happening in every workplace right now. Like,
No.
everybody in their workplace knows of some shenanigans that should not be happening at work, right? The only thing different about this is that it was caught on camera at a Coldplay concert.
Indeed.
But as far as I know, like, work affairs are just like par for the course. Is there something that I'm missing?
No, you're not missing anything. On the surface, that is all this is a workplace affair. And I say all knowing that they are very hurtful to the families involved. But yes, it is just a workplace affair. What I love about this story is how it has united a nation at a time where all of us needed something to laugh about. It has gotten to the point where at baseball games, big baseball teams have now what they call Coldplay cams, where they'll pan across the stadium and couples will pretend to be in an embrace and then pull apart and hide. This is a thing that's happening at baseball games now. Even baseball mascots are getting involved. Athletes are getting involved. I mean, it's become a meme. It's become a fucking joke. And I love it for us. It's a small moment of levity in a very sort of bleak time. And so I'm not mad if the internet wants to make this a joke. The guy deserves it anyway. He is a terrible manager for all intents and purposes. A lot of tech people have been talking about the previous companies he has run and things he has done there and how he was a bad boss and how he has taken advantage of subordinates before. So, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And I love this for us because it's a moment of levity.
I mean, yeah, if you told me that a Silicon Valley CEO was, a douchebag who treats his employees poorly and takes advantage of its employees, I would totally believe that. Again, none of this is, groundbreaking to me. And we've gone through these cycles of public shaming, by the way. Like, this is not the first time. There was Kristen Stewart from Twilight and the director who were caught, and it was dominating the headlines for days, including our current loser president who felt the need to comment on a young woman who made a mistake, right? And he made it worse for her. And then we've had the ABC anchor and his wife, his co-anchor getting caught, right? We've had Lily James and Dominic West. We have this all of the time. And I know you don't agree with me, but it seems to me that we have a lot of strong feelings about adultery, as we should. And there's this element of public shaming that comes with it where we feel like, oh, we all have to throw tomatoes at cheaters, except half y'all daddies are doing this, right? We all know the pastors that are doing this, the sheriffs that are doing this, the police commissioners that are doing this, on and on it goes. I just don't understand why we are so invested in people's personal lives. This has got nothing to do with us. And then these people are releasing statements instead of like talking to their spouses who are actually involved. Like the CEO is releasing a statement, public statement, apologizing to the public. Why?
Well, so yeah. On that note, I don't think that statement was real by the CEO. I did see it circulate. I think I sent it to you. He did resign, though. He did resign. The company announced that he resigned, and the company said they're gonna, try and move on. So he did resign. But to your point about why we're invested, I don't know that people are necessarily invested in the adultery of it. I don't really see people trying to like involve themselves in the spouses, the people who were cheated on. I don't see that happening. There's been a lot of sympathy for the people who we've seen as victims in this situation, the kids, the other spouses. I think people are on their side. I don't know that people are also then what's the word? Focused on the adultery side of it. I think that might be reading a little bit too much into it. I see this as something embarrassing happened to a really rich dude of his own doing by his own actions, and people just want to there's a little bit of reveling in that's happening, because I saw a joke about how every summer there's a billionaire situation or a millionaire situation that happens, and the society as a whole comes together to like kind of laugh at it, which sounds unfair. The other example I'm thinking about is the Titan submersible. There was the same kind of energy around that there is here. I think that's all it is. I don't think it's about shaming people for adultery.
I don't know. That's certainly not what I have seen. I mean, these people do need to be fired or resign, right? Like a CEO and the
100%.
head of HR, like they're just clearly violating all of the employee handbook. Like it's in, I'm
Basically.
sure that like they need to like just throw out the handbook and start over. But like the people involved, like the wives and the children, have had to like shut down their social media accounts and essentially like go into hiding. I know that you might not like be part of the people who are harassing them and just enjoying it, but people are tagging them, people are harassing the spouses, right? And I understand when people say, oh, we're just enjoying the memes, but all of these people are on the internet and they're going to see your memes, and those memes that are giving you the kiki for like 5 minutes or whatever is like basically hurtful to the other people. But my second point actually is they don't even need my sympathy. Like it's just got nothing to do with me. Like this would be like if I came on and started telling you in detail, telling our audience in detail about, I don't know, the HOA like secretary and president or whatever. Like you don't know any of these people. You're not going to be invested in them. You'll be like, why are you telling me this story? So it's the same thing. I just don't understand why we can't like see something like this and all decide like this is not my business and move on.
Well, I feel like you're a hater. That's what I'm gonna say. Feels like you are a hater, Olu. So we can agree.
I love a good cultural moment,
No,
like
you don't sound like
remember
it.
like December 20 something that we were all supposed to get like our black powers or whatever. Like that's fun. You like
Wait,
there are
what?
some moments that like share. There was a day on Twitter that I think somebody had said that this is the day that black people get their powers or something, and it was like, do you remember this?
No. What? Okay. I missed this memo.
Never mind.
Okay.
But there are memes that, like there are things that you can, enjoy, like, 100 men versus one bear, or, like
It was a
choosing the bear. Like
gorilla,
there's some
but
things that are,
okay.
right.
But yes,
Sorry, a gorilla.
your point still
Like there's
stands.
some things that are just like about you and you can like enjoy that. I just don't understand, these are the issues. Going down into a submarine is much more interesting, right? Like from my perspective, we act as if like affairs are these extra salacious, things that happen. Meanwhile, unfortunately, it's the most cliche thing you can do, right? A 50-something-year-old CEO having an affair. Like, if you wrote this in a novel, like, the draft will be sent back to you, right? It's not interesting.
Well, I disagree. Okay, I saw a meme that compared this to Olivia and Fitz from Scandal, the show, and I was like, you know what? I see it. I see it. That was a show. It ran for like 6 seasons. Everyone watched it. A fair, massive plot line. So I
Okay.
disagree.
I never watched
disagree.
Scandal, so maybe I'm just not the audience for this. I actually never watched Scandal,
you,
so
I can't believe you never watched Scandal. That's fucked up. It's on Netflix, so you can fix that now. But
no, I've seen all the memes about it. I also don't think it was that
no.
interesting.
Oh my god. Oh Lou, gotta get your what did you call your cultural milestone filter adjusted a little bit more. But I personally love the story, and I wanted to bring it back as a return of our unsolicited advice segment. So unsolicited advice for everyone: don't cheat. That seems to be number one. Don't cheat. If you are going to cheat, do not go to a Coldplay concert, or you will be, I saw the pun, you will be cold played at the concert. That's the unsolicited advice. So there you go.
Okay, this is just very naive. This is like the don't do drugs kids advice. Like, yes, it's what commandment in the Bible is it about cheating? Like, everybody knows this and they still do it
Oh, I don't,
anyways,
I'm not,
including like all of us. We all know somebody or have been involved in this. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like this is this like big thing. That's still what
well,
I am just like not getting.
I don't think
I
you
am
should
still
cheat.
stuck on why is this a big thing?
I don't think people should cheat, not because of the Bible, but because of financial reasons. This one, the CEO, the human resource officer in question, her and her husband, we found out, just bought a $2.5 million house. So now they have to split that if they file for divorce. So don't cheat; it's going to be bad for your wallet. That's my
Okay,
unsolicited
again,
advice.
this is the don't do drugs. Like, billionaires have lost half of their fortune on cheating.
Exactly,
Like, I
exactly. So don't cheat.
I don't understand who is this advice for, right?
It's
This
for
is
all of us.
crazy.
It's for all of us, Olu.
And
Don't cheat.
nobody listens to this. Nobody
Oh,
does.
excuse me. I like to think people listen to me. Sheesh.
No,
Okay.
no, no, no. I'm
You
not
mean the
talking about like
advice?
not
You mean
listening to
nobody?
you.
You mean nobody
Nobody
pays attention
listens
to
to
the
this
advice?
advice because it's just there's something about life or whatever where this is just so commonplace. Like, we all know it's wrong, right?
Okay,
Half the time that is the appeal of it.
maybe the advice is be better at hiding it so you don't end up on the international news. Maybe
Okay, that's
that's
a
the
better
advice then.
advice.
There you go. Unsolicited advice: don't end up on a jumbotron while you're cheating. There you go.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Liber Banter. We have been your hosts, Liz and Olu. If you have enjoyed your time with us today, please spread the word, share with family and friends. Goodbye, and we hope to see you next time. Be well.